The Get On Living Safely campaign is sponsoring this podcast to remind you to keep your spending in the community. Supporting local businesses keeps food on the table for our friends and neighbors. Follow them on social media and learn more at getonlivingsafely.com. We talked with Dustin Schilling of Driftless Leather. We chatted about leatherwork, his interest in creating unique pieces for guitars, his process when creating, and how living in the Driftless region of Wisconsin informs his work. You can find more conversations on our website, lacrosselocal.com. I'm Amy.
And I'm Brent.
And this is Lacrosse Local.
My name is Dustin Schilling. I was born in Platteville, Wisconsin, so not too far, just down south a little bit there. And I have lived in this area for about 9 years now, going on 9 years. I got into leatherworking. Well, I've always been into art. I'm an art teacher at Bangor. So I've always been, really interested in art since I was a little kid. And my grandpa actually was cleaning out his basement when he was moving. And he found some old leatherworking tools in his basement. So I was like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll take those. And I just kind of started messing around with those. This is probably about 5 years ago or so. And it just kind of clicked for me, I guess. I watched some different YouTube videos and kind of got in on the leatherworking scene a little bit and followed some people, some other leather workers and what they were doing. And it's just really interesting. And I'm also a musician. And so I really wanted to make my own guitar strap. And that was kind of my big inspiration, I guess, in getting into it, is just make something myself. And I've always been kind of a tinkerer. And so I made my first guitar strap. A couple of my friends were like, man, that's really cool. You should sell that stuff. And so I started just kind of listing a few things here and there. And then people started contacting me about making things for them. And that's kind of how I got started in it.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like you're heavily into producing items for guitars, and it makes sense, being a musician yourself. For someone who doesn't know your work, what else do you offer, or what do you focus on?
Yeah, my big thing is guitar straps, but I've done belts. I've done, that's a pretty popular thing. I do hats too, just like custom patches on hats. I've done suspenders, although I'm not a super huge fan of doing those. It's a lot of measurements. Done little things like keychains and bookmarks and just little things here and there, but a big chunk of it. Rifle slings, I've done those. Yeah, but guitar straps are definitely my big seller, probably. Pick guards, I've done a couple of those for guitars, electric guitars.
What's your process? How do you go about creating new work? Do you draw it out and then work through it, or is it kind of off the cuff?
Being really interested in art, drawing has always been kind of my main medium, and I love drawing. So I kind of start, I guess, with a pencil and paper for the most part. Most of my stuff is, like I said, is commissioned. So people contact me and they're like, hey, I really want, feathers or leaves or something like that on a guitar strap. What can you do? And I want my last name on it too or something. And so then I'll sit down and draw everything out in pencil. And then I kind of get the approval from the person. And then I just start throwing it down on leather with some pencil and go from there, I guess.
You seem to use a lot of outdoor themes and imagery. You have some great baseball hats with everything from fishing to Sasquatch on it. How does living in Driftless, Wisconsin kind of inform what you're creating?
I guess along with being a musician, I'm also a pretty avid outdoorsman. I grew up doing a lot of fishing and a lot of hunting and hiking and camping and all that stuff. And so I've always been really interested in the outdoors and kind of a nature nut. And so that stuff kind of comes naturally to me, I guess. And a lot of people that really like the kind of natural imagery on their guitar straps and rifle slings and belts and things like that. And it kind of goes along with traditional Western leather carving it usually has a lot of natural themes associated with it. But trout fishing is huge around here. And so, we have some of the best trout fishing in the nation. And so that's a real popular thing to get put on belts or guitar straps or something like that. But so, yeah, I guess living in the Driftless, just appreciating the nature, the amazing opportunities we have around here, incorporating that into artwork is a lot of fun.
I've talked to a number of musicians and artists, and some have used this time, and I'm talking about COVID, of course, but have used this time as an opportunity to be creative. Some people have worked through this entire time. Some people kind of digested the experience of having to stay home, and now they're kind of exploring a little bit more creatively. Has COVID affected you in any capacity creatively?
Yeah. So like the beginning of the outbreak, my wife and I had our second baby. And so my life was just like put on hold. Like everything I was interested in was just obviously put on hold because it was like, just trying to not fall asleep during the day, lack of sleep and everything. But no, I think like a couple months in after we finally got the swing of things with having a new baby around, I finally got to get working again. I started pumping out quite a bit of stuff, but it seems like my work, I did a lot of my work like late at night, like when everyone was sleeping. I could sneak away and get downstairs and get working in my workshop, and so I was able to stay up really late. And I'd be pumping out guitar straps at like 1-2 in the morning. And then during the day, doing the dad thing during the day, and then working at night. But yeah, so I guess like it really allowed me to slow down. And I think that's, with a lot of people, they kind of realized they just slow down a little bit and kind of take it in. And I really enjoyed kind of having time to myself a little bit, during this quarantine. Normally being a teacher, I have summers off anyway, so I'm able to kind of do quite a bit, but usually during the summers, I'm not doing a whole lot inside. I'm typically out fishing or hiking or something. I'm doing something with family. And during the winter is when I get a lot of my work done when I'm stuck inside, if I'm not ice fishing. I guess like just slowing down is something that's really helped me, especially in like June when I really got pumping out things. It was good.
What's next for you with the leatherworking or even with your music? I didn't even ask what band you play in, or are you solo or? I
play bass, the band in the area called Tragic Americans. We've been around for a little while. We played Riverfest a little bit, just played some various bar shows around. We have a lot of fun doing that. And we're kind of on hold right now with that, obviously. I think with the leather thing, I'm hoping to kind of get some more, because right now, like I do a lot of commission work. Like, people contact me and they want something specifically made, but I'd really like to get into making some like stock up on a few popular things. I'm working with one of my buddies to help me with some website stuff. And I'd really like to get into doing some different art fairs or craft fairs, maybe even like farmers markets in the summer. So hopefully kind of when COVID subsides a little bit and we're able to kind of get back to some sense of normalcy, I'll be able to do some of that stuff. Cause I'd really like to, make it more into more of a side hustle, kind of more of a money maker that I'm able to make money from something that I really love.
Absolutely. So if people want to follow along and just maybe check in or maybe check out one of these sweet guitar straps or even the hats, where can people find out more?
So if you look me up on Facebook, Driftless Leather on Facebook and Instagram, I do most of my contacts through Facebook or Instagram, either one of those.
La Crosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you would like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at La Crosse Locals. Subscribe to the La Crosse Local Podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We thank you for it.